أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To all of you, dear brothers and sisters, I pray you and your families are well. I'm very honored and pleased to be with you all, to learn from you all, and to be connected in this suhbah and gathering as we have now for almost 16, 17 weeks joined this halaqah and learning the sacred tradition of Futuwwah and sacred manhood and sacred womanhood. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our gathering and our intentions in learning for the sake of Allah, and to follow the path of our predecessors when it comes to embodying the sacred nature of Futuwwah. Ameen. I want to thank Sister Fatima and Brother Seyed for always being here, facilitating in such an excellent way. And I want to thank all of my colleagues and all of our excellent brothers and sisters in the Futuwwah Academy of Sacred Manhood and Sacred Womanhood, and ISIP, the International Students of Islamic Psychology, for your excellent khidmah. May Allah accept it from all of you. And I want to thank you all, dear brothers and sisters, who are joining on our weekly halaqas. Your contributions and your reflections are very important, and it gives us a lot of insight. So I really appreciate all of you giving out of your precious time to your beloved brothers and sisters. So today we're going to read the chapter about, please forgive me, today we're going to read the chapter about brotherhood from page 113 to page 123. And as usual, we read some parts of the chapter and then we do joint text reflections, inshallah. So let's start. So there is no sin more harmful for you than to show contempt for your Muslim brother. And I'm sure, as you guys have seen throughout our readings of this wonderful book that has been compiled by our dear teacher, Imam Dawud Walid, may Allah accept it from him. And there is a very pedagogical framework that this book is built upon, and all the chapters are interconnected and intertwined with one another. So we've been speaking about brotherhood and other chapters as well. For instance, we have spoken about the notion of uhuwa, which is sacred brotherhood in a sense. And there are other notions of brotherhood, indeed, that is directly linked to different virtues and character traits that the fatah and the youth needs to embody in order to walk into the path of futuwwah and becoming a noble person. And this ikhwaniyat or ukhuwa, brotherhood, is a very sacred feature when it comes to futuwwah. And of course, for all of you sisters, sisterhood, equally important. All right. Who would like to start reading, dear brothers and sisters? Brother Shraib, should you start today?
I can start little later. I'm in the kind of.
Okay, no problem. Sister Fatima, would you
Hello?
like to read? Sister Hadid, I saw you unmuting yourself. Please go ahead.
Bismillah. Brotherhood. There is no futuwwah without brotherhood. The fatah is his growing maturity, must understand that his own personal spiritual growth and the increase of blessings has a relationship with his connection with the Fityan and the Muslim community in general. While linguists have said that brotherhood means brothers from the same lineage, brotherhood also encompasses brothers and friendship. Regarding this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Azza wa Jal said in Surah Al-Hujurat verses 10, the believers are but brothers, so reconcile between your brothers and have mindfulness of Allah in order that you may receive more of His mercy. The Prophet ﷺ also said, from the joy of a person is that he has religious upright person brothers. Likewise, Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu said that a righteous brother is better for you than yourself alone, for the ego commands towards evil, while the righteous brother doesn't enjoin anything for you but good.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adil. I appreciate it. So essentially here we're reflecting upon the whole aspect of brotherhood. And that brotherhood doesn't mean that you need to share the same lineage, but that it encompasses brothers in friendship, so people that are companions, rafiq or rafiqas as well. And also here we see that Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu says that the righteous brother is better for you than your own self, right? So in a sense, it's a way to break your nafs, to be surrounding yourself with righteous brothers who guides you, who mirrors you, so that you do not do things that are not good, rather you do things that are good, right? So this is also a sacred aspect of brotherhood. So um, sometimes people say that we become a reflection of who we are surrounding ourselves with. So what we can learn from this is that in the concept of Futuwwah, we need to surround ourselves with good people, with brothers that share the same values and the same path. Would anybody like to reflect a little bit about the statement of Sayyidina Ali, radiallahu anhu, and also the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he says that from the joy of a person is that he has righteous, upright brothers. What is a righteous, upright brother or sister for that matter? And why is this so important, dear brothers and sisters? Anybody who would like to share? Yes, Sister Hadid, go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking like, who's the righteous brother or sister? I think the person who would like help you out to know what your mistakes are, or help you to improve, yani yourself, and take care of like for example, shatters of the heart and all of these problems. So I think this is the real brother or sister, and to be honest. And also, I had this question like, it was mentioned the Muslim community. What about the whole, like not only the Ummah but the whole world? Like I think we are all united by our humanity. So also, how can we like help the other people who are not Muslims?
Yeah, this is a very important reflection, dear sister. And I think later on in this chapter, when we read, there is a lot of prophetic statements that also allows us to think beyond just the Muslims, but to all humanity, indeed, and the insaniyat and the adamiyah, the sacred dignity of all human beings, and that, in a sense, we should treat all others with the same love that we want to be treated with ourselves. So it's kind of like the way that you want to be treated of others, you treat others as well. And that this expands both Muslims and non-Muslims, obviously. Also, with the non-Muslims, I believe that if we just try to embody the notion of brotherhood or sisterhood, then it's a good way to do dawah and invite people to Islam by, the heart-to-heart connection. And I think we all experience this, at least people living in non-majority Muslim countries, for instance, myself living in the West, and I'm sure many of you as well, that there's a lot of good opportunities in bringing people to Islam and do dawah by just building heart-to-heart connection with all human beings, regardless if they're believers or not. I have seen that personally, for instance, in the university, where I connect a lot with the brothers there through the aspect of just being kind and connecting my heart with them. And they start to become very curious after a while about your personal beliefs. For instance, why don't you hang out with us when we're doing this and that? Why are you only with us when we're studying, for instance, or when, we're going to a class or whatever? And then you can start to speak a little bit about your spiritual beliefs and your religion. And a lot of them become very curious, actually, because they lack that steadfastness. And I think the younger generation, they're longing to more thorough moral principle that is beyond the anthropocentric values of the West. So I think this is a good discussion to have, Sister Hadid. I appreciate you sharing it. And I think we can see it as a way to do dawah by connecting us with even brothers and sisters or men and women that are not Muslims, as a way to bring them to Islam with our hearts and with our character and with our good behaviors, inshallah. Yes, Brother Rashid, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, I was busy with something in South Africa and I'm joining late, but I hope I haven't missed too much. What I'd like to say is two things. Number one, as far as Imam Ali's statement about a righteous brother is better for you than yourself alone, with ego command toward evil, while the righteous brother does not enjoin anything for you but good. It reminds me of the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam when he says that if you see something wrong, you correct it with your hand. Now the good brother will help you, will point out to you and show you things which need correction, whether it's in yourself, in him or herself, or in the community, or in the nation as a whole. Whereas a brother or a sister who has ego commanding them, munkar and nankar is what I'm discussing about, they will probably help you along the path of evil, take you away from, and they will help you to enjoin evil rather than enjoining good. The second point I'd like to make is when you said just now about interaction with non-Muslims, and I remember that I have broadcast lists for, as a medical practitioner, one for Muslim doctors, one for doctors in general. And then in error one day, I put a non-Muslim doctor into the Muslim list, and I sent him something about Islam. And then he wrote back to me and he said, "Ah, that's interesting. I never knew that. Can you tell me more about it?" So that's the point, which is agreeing and mirroring what you have just said. That is important. And the third point, if I may just make it quickly, is I always say when we are sharing WhatsApp things of a good nature, do not forget to send it to the non-Muslims. Because if you send it to the non-Muslims, inshallah, somebody among them, a small percentage, may start seeing things from a different perspective from what the media in the West does. Jazakallah khairan.
Jazakallah khairan, Brother Rashid, for your very profound and excellent remarks. And I really agree and echo your sentiments. And I think that, for instance, in our study circle here, we should invite non-Muslims as well. They can learn a lot. Actually, one of my teachers, and also he's a advisory board member of both Futuwwah Academy and ISIP, Professor Suleiman Dareen. May Allah bless him. I enjoy always learning from him. He told us that Islamic psychology, for instance, is a great tool for dawah. And I really believe that we have something comprehensive in the tradition of Futuwwah that we're trying to revive, that is really resolving a lot of the issues of the contemporary era. And these are issues that even non-Muslims think about, for instance, about ethics and ethical standards and sacredness in our conducts and in our ways of approaching our gender and our identity, etc. So I definitely believe in what you're saying, and Brother Rashid, and also what Sister Hadeen referred to, that we need to open up these spaces and see it as a tool of education even for those that are not Muslims, because this could be an entry point to Islam. And we're going to read in this chapter how the Prophet ﷺ, utilized the whole, the Brotherhood of Medina as a way to connect hearts and strengthen the beliefs of the believers. And that's what we can do both within the Ummah and also outside the Ummah, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan. Let's continue the reading a little bit, and we will continue the discussions as we go through more paragraphs in this chapter.
Brother,
yes.
I'm sorry to disturb you. I put up my hand again because what you said struck a chord with me. I was walking along the seaside in Cape Town, and I met a German couple, father, mother, and adult child. And we just started discussing, and he said he's a psychologist, and I said, yeah, I belong to the ISIP. And he said, what is that? And he was interested. He said, am I allowed to attend the meetings online? I said, look, I don't know the answer to that question. I think the organization will agree, but I need to ask the head of the organization. And what you have just said now has already answered me that yes, we are inviting people, but which one are we inviting them to? Any, every, all?
They're welcome to every lectures. The thing is, we cannot segregate ourselves from the society. Imagine if the Sahaba had the same opinion. We should only speak with Muslims. How could then Islam expand to Sham, to Levant, to Persia? We need to go the prophetic way. And we need to imagine, like the Prophet said, I'm just saying, okay, we're 10 students now. We're not going to expand our halaqas when they were, giving, the first teachings of Islam, in Al-Arqam's house in Mecca, right? So definitely this is open. Of course, we will always say that this is teachings that are grounded in Quran and Sunnah. We're not going to water down our teachings so that it can, fit all people's palates or taste buds. No, we're going to be very honest with our positions, and we're going to be, in that case, straightforward. And we are grounded because sometimes when people try to open up their communities to people outside that might not be from the same, epistemological or ontological understanding, or it becomes sometimes way watered down because we don't want to hurt others. We don't want to say something that could be misinterpreted. I think from this aspect, we're going to always. Could you please mute yourself, brothers and sisters, when you're not speaking? Thank you so much. So essentially, I think that's something that we will always be very clear that we're going to be very honest with our, epistemology and ontology and the understandings of whether it's Futuwwah or psychology, whatever we discuss, and that we appreciate if people can respect that and accept that and acknowledge that, and they can still be join us and learn. Like when I go to other, spaces that are, that I do not, that is not my, you know, home, or it's not like I tell them you need to change yourself just because I am here. I need to understand and respect the customs. Obviously, I'm not going to go to a majlis or to a space or to a place where there's things that are contradicting Quran and Sunnah. That I will refrain from. But nevertheless, we want the same respect from others. But yes, it's open for everybody to join, and I think it's a great opportunity to, as you say, change perceptions of what Islam is, what our knowledge is, what is our epistemological and ontological understanding, what is the knowledge inquiry process, what is the sacred natures of our studies. This could, change minds and souls and hearts and hopefully bring them to Islam, but also to change perceptions and, break a lot of the stereotypes with regards to Islam and Muslims generally. So I definitely invite all of you, brothers and sisters, to even invite non-Muslims to join our majlis. Now, there are a couple of, we have certain safe spaces where maybe it's only open for Muslims. These tend to not be public gatherings where we speak some more like sensitive topics that maybe we do not want to speak publicly. But these are often not marketed, and these are often not even recorded. But all of our recorded initiatives, all of our public initiatives are open for everybody. And they're most welcome. We don't ask people whether you're Muslim or not a Muslim in the end of the day. Islam is something that, of course, defines us both in our outer and inner, but obviously a lot of people can benefit from this, and maybe this can be a gateway towards coming to the, reverting or converting to Islam. Jazakallah khairan, Brother Rashid, for your excellent remarks. And I invite all of you, beloved brothers and sisters, to invite all people that you meet to our Futuwwah study circles, Muslims and non-Muslims. And I think through the notion of Futuwwah, a lot of people can, come to Islam and become Muslims, and inshallah, revert to Islam, inshallah. And we have seen that. If you guys see, for instance, there's a lot of young men that are becoming Muslims nowadays because of a lot of the, influencers in social media speaking about Islam, for instance. And I think this is very good. Now, obviously, we as students of Futuwwah, we believe that you should take your knowledge from sacred sources, and that it's important that there is a sanad and a silsila in the knowledge inquiry, You do not just take knowledge wherever. Nevertheless, it's a very good signal that a lot of Muslims. Actually, I saw this YouTube clip where I don't know who it was. It was a Christian person who was speaking about why is it so many people that are becoming Muslims, and specifically young men and males. And then they were speaking about like the secular realm and the liberal realm is, targeting masculinity, and a lot of men are now, as a reaction, turning to other epistemologies and philosophy. A lot of people, turn to Islam as it preserves their identity in a holistic way. It was very interesting how they were reflecting upon this feature in modernity, and they were speaking very positively about Islam, even though they were not Muslims. And I think looking at that, we can invite people to come to Futuwwah, because then this could be an avenue for them to then hopefully revert and convert to Islam by seeing how we as Muslims address contemporary issues such as masculinity and femininity from the perspective of Futuwwah and Quran and Sunnah. Let's see here. There are some brothers and sisters who are writing in the chat. Sister Hadid is writing, I totally agree. Invite non-Muslims for interfaith dialogue. We need it more than any time before. Yes, interfaith dialogue is very important. We endorse that. It's a prophetic tradition as well. The Prophet invited Christian delegations to come and visit him, and many of them became Muslims as well. So yes, the only thing I think it's important though when we engage in interfaith that we are doing it with boundaries, because sometimes some of these interfaith forums can become very synchronistic. Synchronistic in the sense that suddenly the boundaries between different faiths disappear, and it's kind of like we're all the same. And now, of course, we're all human beings. So in that, we're all, part of Adamiyya, and Insaniyat, definitely, and this is important that the dignity of all human beings. This is important that we always, secure and safeguard. Nevertheless, I think interfaith dialogue is very important, but that we also have boundaries that, yeah, we are having dialogue, but we're also different, and that's fine. So it doesn't become this like new age spirituality and this, very like watering down the boundaries and not having any differentiation, because this is this is a token type of diversity, which is what liberalism emphasizes. It's like, oh, we're all the same, but we're not actually, because in the liberal ideology, we're all the same as long as we accept the liberal ideology, accept the liberal hegemony. And then we're all the same, but we need to accept capitalism. We need to accept liberal notions of identity or, philosophies, etc. What we believe is we have unity in Tawheed, Qur'an and Sunnah, then we can have multiplicity or diversity in application, and that we respect people from other traditions and cultures and religions, obviously, but we're also different, and that's fine. You can have your court system, we have ours, and then we can have interfaith where we can, focus on the common denominators. For instance, I think that all of us are advocating from psychology, from Islamic paradigm. There are a couple of things that we might have in common in the advocacy with people from Christian faith or Jewish faith or Buddhist faith. When it comes to that, we're tired of secularization of psychology, and that the secular psychology claims to be, objective, which we believe is not true. Yeah, then we can partner with them to create awareness that it's important to accept that there is other traditions and epistemologies of psychology, which is more, less self-centered or less, cognitive centered, and that people do believe in transcendental psychology, for instance. Okay, we have something in common, we can collaborate, but then there's a lot of difference between Islamic psychology with Christian psychology, with Jewish psychology. We don't believe and agree in many notions within Christian psychology or Jewish psychology or Buddhist psychology, but we can still focus on the common denominators. We can partner in that, and we can even do conferences speaking about interfaith. Actually, in one of the projects we're doing, so the ISIP, together with our research center, the Al-Balkhi Institute, we're partnering with the Maqasid Institute, which was established by Professor Yasser Auda, one of the great scholars of our generation. So we're doing this Maqasid methodology course and how to use Professor Auda's methodology in doing research in Islamic psychology. And I just heard from one of our teachers and colleagues, Dr. Indus, that there's a Christian man who is doing the Maqasid methodology course, and he is so astonished by the Maqasid methodology that he wants to advocate for it to be utilized as courses in universities in UK where he lives. So Alhamdulillah, this is very good, and definitely may Allah guide him to Islam, and then we will make dua for him. But at least he is a partner in the sense that he wants to support us in bringing in Islam. And I know here in Sweden, actually, when a lot of us came to Sweden as refugees from other countries, actually a lot of the Christians supported us in helping us to build our, our mosques, and also even before we had our own graveyards, and we were, supported by the Christian community in finding, land for having Muslim graveyards, for instance. So this is very important indeed, but we need to be mindful that it doesn't become synchronistic and it doesn't become this new age spirituality, which is very problematic, by the way, because it's kind of like, we don't believe that all path leads to God. We believe Islam is the final message, and we believe firmly in this. We don't believe that you can come to transcendence without believing in Tawheed. We don't believe in the Trinity. We don't believe that you're born with a sin. We don't believe that one people is the chosen people. And we are very firm on that, but we can still have a dialogue and understand one another. And in common denominators, we can definitely collaborate. So I think that is the way that I was taught by my teachers and how to address interfaith. But definitely, I think it's very important. All right. What else? Like being the barzak that unite all. Yes. Sister Amber says, Subhanallah, brilliant. All right. So Ahmed is saying, not all Muslims are brothers. It's only believers who are brothers to each other. Yeah, yeah, brother Ahmed, we can discuss that. Depending on what you mean with brothers. Would you like to expand on what you're saying? You can unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah, Ahmed.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah, so I have been with this brotherhood and with this reference with the Quran, which is all the believers or the brothers. But what I have experienced, it is the believers. We are all Muslims, and Muslims to be believer, mu'minun, Muslimun and mu'minun. So all the mu'minuns are Muslims, but all the Muslimuns are not mu'min. With this regard, I think so. I like it's not about think so. It is that all the brothers, all the Muslim brothers are not brother to each other. It is just the mu'minun who are brother to each other. Because how ego, they will let the ego. But nowadays it is all about the ego which breaks friendship, which breaks brotherhood, motherhood, fatherhood, everything. So if you are a true believer, we will be brothers to each other. Ups and downs will be there, but there will be no bukhl, there will be no grudges in the heart, because nobody will enter Jannah without that single atom of bukhl, and this is what I understand.
Jazakallah khairan, brother. As I understand, you're referring to being a believer and that's important in order for us to be brothers. I understand what you're saying. My question is, how do we know that this person has iman? Because iman is in the heart at the end of the day. How do we judge that? That's my question to you. How do we judge that, whether he or she is a believer or not? I mean, if they say they're Muslims, for instance, how do we know? Like if
Not
they
to
do
be
kufr, you
fair,
mean? Or if they do something kufr, is that what you're referring to? Or I'm just trying to understand what you mean.
yeah. So basically, it is we don't have to be nice. We have to be kind. So what we are trying nowadays is being nice to each other than being kind. So
Okay.
what is I'm from Afghanistan, and in Afghanistan our elders taught us a good friend is a one who makes you cry, and a bad friend is the one who makes you laugh.
Okay, I get what you're saying. So kind and niceness are two different ways. Nice and kind. Kind is with the heart. Nice is an attitude. I'm trying to understand, brother. Mashallah, that's profound things you're saying. I want to understand. And I think I got it. I think I got it. I appreciate your thoughts and thank you for sharing it.
Brother
Yes,
Said, Assalamualaikum.
yeah, go ahead, Dr. Bibijan. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I do agree with, to a certain extent, with what Brother Ahmad said about the difference between the Muslims and the Mu'min. But I think, again, I also feel that what you say is truly correct, because we cannot be judgmental, because what we see is only the external part of it, the manifestation of the faith. So who are we to make judgment of other people? So again, we have the whole spectrum of Muslims, just like we have the whole spectrum of non-Muslim as well. So to me, what is important, we have to be husnul zun, always think good of people. And because if you don't think good of people, it's a bit difficult to talk about the concept of brotherhood, the concept. So for me, I mean, I also work with different sect of Muslims in different part of the world. So there are people who have different interests, different agendas, different depth of understanding of Islam. So whatever it is, so long that I like to say that if they have the same Shahada, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, and the fundamentals are not different, so I will put aside, because as long as the fundamentals are different, and if they claim they're Muslim, it's a bit difficult to work together. So again, it all goes back to being having this husnuzun concept. Think good, because otherwise there will be a lot of negative thought coming. Thank you. Wallahu alam.
Jazakallah khairan, Dr. Bibijan, for your excellent remarks. I'm so glad to see you here, by the way, Dr. Bibijan. Jazakallah khair. It's always an honor to have you with us. MashaAllah. May Allah bless you. And thank you, Brother Ahmad, for raising a very good reflection and question. I appreciate it. And yeah, obviously, it's a very complex thing. So essentially, what Brother Ahmad says is a very interesting thing to reflect upon with regards to, so what about a Muslim who behaves wrongly, or says things that goes against our aqidah as Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, for example? How do we treat them? That's an important question indeed. And perhaps, in a sense, we do not accept those thoughts and actions, and we try to guide them with our hearts by giving them beneficial knowledge. And it goes back to what Brother Rashid said, that sometimes we need to change things with our hands or with our tongue or with our heart, isn't it? According to the prophetic statement. So definitely, if we hear something that is not good, then we should actually say something, but then we shouldn't say it publicly, perhaps, in the first stance. Maybe we give them private nasiha, and if they continue, then maybe you should also have a public statement. Actually, in this chapter, Imam Dawud Walid explains how we should reconcile with brothers who have done something wrong, or how we should give them, guidance, in which way, So let's continue the reading. But I must say, I really appreciated your input, Brother Ahmed, because it gave further complexity to the issue. And that also you can be kind, nice, but it's different than being kind. And you can still, see people as human beings, but maybe not all people are brothers. It's quite interesting what you're saying. And from the aspect of as one ummah, because I think we need to be ummah-centric in our ways. That's very important, that we always try to ground ourselves in the ummah-centric approach when it comes to dealing with Islamic and Muslim matters. But within that, are we all brothers? Yes, that's how we are being taught by the Prophet ﷺ. But then what happens if one brother, says things that are contradicting our faith, for instance? What do we do then? And that's a very interesting topic to discuss further. Khair. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you, Dr. Bibijan, for excellent remarks. Thank you, Brother Rashid and Sister Hadid, for excellent thoughts, and also Brother Ahmed for excellent reflection. Let's continue. We have a lot of reading today, so I think we should read a longer chapter now, part of the chapter, and then we will have discussions. Who would like to read?
I would.
All right, Brother Rashid, go ahead.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So we're starting with as Khalif, right?
Yeah, as Khalif, exactly.
Right. As Khalif, when Imam Ali ibn Abu Talib wrote to the governor of Egypt, Malik al-Ashtar, radiallahu anhu, he advised him concerning the Egyptians. Surely there are two types. Either a brother for you in religion, or an equal for you in humanity. Furthermore, Imam Ali said, many a brother was born from other than your mother. Thus, there is an exclusivity of spiritual brotherhood among believers in Islam based upon a faith that transcends common humanity and blood ties. This principle is firmly established in the following prophetic tradition. Do not hate each other. Do not envy each other. Do not turn away from each other, but rather be servants of Allah as brothers. It is not lawful for a Muslim to boycott his brother for more than 3 days. Sheikh Uthman ibn Fudi radiallahu anhu stated, surely spiritual allegiance for believers is a religious obligation upon every Muslim according to the book, that is the Quran, Sunnah, and the consensus of the scholars and righteous persons among the community.
Jazakallah khairan, Brother Rashid, for reading in such an excellent way. May Allah bless you. So essentially here, a lot of answers came to some of the reflections and discussions that we had earlier. So Sayyidina Ali says what? Surely there are two types, right? When he's addressing this discussion with regards to giving nasiyah to the governor of Egypt, Malik al-Ashtar, radiallahu anhu. He said, surely there are two types, either a brother for you in religion or equal for you in humanity. And that's where we have this insaniyah, this adamiyah, right? What Sayyidina Ali says here, that yes, we are brothers. So your brother is somebody in your religion, but you have equals in humanity. So he's making this beautiful distinction that yes, brothers involves that we are part of the ummah, so we're all believers or Muslims, but we're still equal in humanity. But maybe that is a differentiation, but still there is a acknowledgement and respect of the human dignity, even though we might not be brothers in faith, right?
Sorry,
so
brother.
Distinguish.
Sorry, sir, could you show us where we are discussing? Could you bring the page down, please, to where we are discussing?
I was discussing here. When Sayyidina Ali was giving nasiha to Malik al-Ashtar with regards to his governance in Egypt. So he said, either a brother for you in religion or an equal for you in humanity. And then also what he establishes here is that blood ties and tribal lineage is not the main connection to you as your brother. Rather, you can be brothers and still be from other mothers, right? So that's also very important principles, because prior to Islam, blood kin was what defined your brotherhood or sisterhood, and then with Islam and the dawn of the prophetic message, it became instead faith and iman that bonded us as brothers and sisters in one ummah, one community, right? So it went away from blood kin to faith and iman. So that was something there. And then here we say boycotting, right? We shouldn't boycott a brother more than 3 days. We shouldn't disregard or disconnect with a brother or sister more than 3 days. We should not hate each other. We should not envy each other. We should not turn away from one another. We should be servants of Allah as brothers. So I was thinking, if we reflect upon the prophetic statement, and we did this a little bit last week when we had the discussion about cancel culture, like what can we learn from this prophetic statement of not boycotting a brother or a sister in this contemporary era? Because sometimes we hear a lot of people advocating that, yeah, we need to cancel this person, we need to boycott this person. Of course, we should cancel actions, but maybe people can make tawbah and change. So, of course, you can cancel an action that is wrong or haram. Nevertheless, what is your thoughts if you connect that to how we can learn from this prophetic statement in the contemporary era that we live in today? Any thoughts? Yes, Brother Rashid, go ahead.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, first of all, these are very important things. If you could lower the screen, please, a bit, brother.
Here?
Jazakallah khairan.
Okay.
These are three very, very important negativity that unfortunately today Muslims engage in. And we are aping the non-Muslim culture when we do that. Hating each other is something which Muslims, unfortunately, do to a great extent, trying to ape the Western civilization. We envy each other, just like the Western civilization. America envies Russia's power. Russia envies China's influence, and UK tries to be more like America all the time, envying them. Do not turn away from each other. This I find also to a great extent that we come across people who have not spoken to their blood brothers or sisters, even sometimes to their parents for decades, not 3 days, months, years, but decades. And also, the next part is the positive part. We've dealt with the negative, but rather be servants of Allah as brothers. And of course, this includes sisters also. It is not lawful for a Muslim to boycott his brother for more than 3 days. I think I've spoken enough. Jazakallah khairan.
MashaAllah. Beautiful, beautiful reflections and interpretation of this prophetic statement. I agree with you. And I think that this whole aspect, as you say, is derived from a culture which is not aligned with Quranic and prophetic principles, indeed. So I definitely think that it's food for thought and food for our minds and hearts, and boycotting our brothers or sisters and instead guiding them to good. If we boycott people, then how are they supposed to learn? Obviously we can boycott the action. And by the way, don't mix this with us boycotting Israel, because we should boycott Israel. We should boycott all of their goods for sure. This is about people, and specifically Muslims, and how we can guide them towards khair. And the prophetic statement is quite clear, that it's not lawful for a Muslim to boycott his brother or sister. And why 3 days is because maybe you need 3 days to disconnect, as a way to calm yourself down and allow them to reflect upon the behavior, and then you guide them again, inshallah, with the pure intention of knowing that you're not better than others, because we all have shortcomings indeed. Yes, Brother Ahmed, you're raising your hand. Go ahead.
Yes, brother. So with this reflection, what is coming to my mind? Human will hate each other. Human will do envy each other, and human will definitely turn away from each other. So it is Allah's the purpose that we should be connected with each other. And the 3 days, it's like it is mentioned, because we are Muhammad, peace be upon him, was the walking Quran. He knew human. He knew human nature. So that's why they have given it 3 days. Like within these 3 days, we understand you will hate each other. Even you will hate your mother, you will hate your father, you will hate your brother, sister, anybody can come. But okay, it is fine. You have 3 days to reflect. You have 3 days to calm down. If you're a true believer, no ego will take over you. But this is not happening right now. We see brothers killing each other. And this is being inherited to their incoming generations, which I am experiencing it. And I have seen it in a very typical Muslim families, which is we are not reflecting, like we don't care about it. Okay, we will see, we will see. When they get older, we will see. So we are just being so much kind of careless, irresponsible in this regards. It is not about westernization. It is not about America or any. We are all humans. We have all the same traits, same features. We will have. We got the message. We saved ourselves somehow, but maybe they haven't got the message yet.
Yes. Yes.
So,
MashaAllah. Amazing remarks, amazing reflections, Brother Ahmed. Thank you so much for sharing. We appreciate it and we benefit from it. Yes, maybe they have not received the message, as you say. And that's why it's important for us to have husnul dhan, as Dr. Bibijan said. And through that husnul dhan, we also humble ourselves, that maybe we're not perfect ourselves as well. And there is 3 levels of husnul dhan, as we have referred to earlier. Husnul dhan bil nafs is to have positive opinion of yourself. Husnul dhan bil nas is to have positive opinion of others, including your brothers and sisters. And husnul dhan billah is to always have positive opinion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because anything else will be a sin indeed. So yeah, you're right, brother. Thank you. Brother Rashid, with your permission, shall we read a little bit more and then we'll do some more text reflection, because we have a lot of reading.
Sure,
Okay. All right, Jazakallah khairan. Would anybody who would like to continue reading?
If nobody there, I'm always there, brother.
MashaAllah. Brother Rashid, I love your always being so dedicated to serve. May Allah bless you for being one of our amazing role models, Brother Rashid. We truly learned so much from you. Thank you. Sister Shabina, go ahead. Would you like to read, Sister Shabina? I think you raised your hand.
Yes, I just want to ask that I've joined now. I just want to ask from where to read.
Here, from here, sister. True Brotherhood.
Okay. Okay. Wait.
Take your time, sister. No problem.
True brotherhood must consist of loyalty, a sign of fatah, sincerity for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that He does not break His oaths and agreements with His brothers when they confirm with the Qur'an, Sunnah, and what is known to be good. The fatah should see His word as his bond that he will not break for anyone. For doing so would make him worse in character than a manji. A wild dog, Abu Bakr Muhammad ibn Khalifa ibn al-Marzubani radiallahu ta'ala anhu highlighted in this book the merit of dogs over many who wear clothing that loyal dogs have a trait that many adult males lack. This is illustrated in a story in which Ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu saw a Bedouin with a dog, then asking him, "What is this with you?" The Bedouin replied, "No one thanks me and keeps my secret." Ibn Umar then responded, "Then preserve your companion." Al-Sabi similarly said, "The best quality of a dog is that he does not have hypocrisy in his love." Ibn Abbas added that a trustworthy dog is better than a treacherous man.
Jazakallah khairan, sister. Thank you, Sister Shabina, for reading in such an excellent way. May Allah bless you and preserve you. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Here, and we're taking the dog as a metaphor, by the way, brothers and sisters. I mean, in many Muslim cultures, the dog is actually seen as something najis, something that is not clean. Nevertheless, this is just a metaphor of understanding perhaps more the notion of loyalty, isn't it? You know, loyalty and its connection to brotherhood. What is loyalty for you guys? Would you guys like to reflect upon that a little bit? And why is loyalty important in the notion of futuwwah? Why is it important as the sign of the fatah in his or her sincerity for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that for instance, he is loyal towards his brothers and sisters? Of course, loyalty needs to be towards people and actions that conform with Quran, Sunnah, and the things that are known as being good. And the Furqan is obviously Quran and Sunnah. Yes, Sister Hadid, go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking about being loyal, to be honest with one another and not backbite or not say lies to each other. And I think this is very important, in terms of being having fatwa. And also, I was also another reflection I wanted to talk about is also to pray, even to pray for others, to make dua, and even if maybe some people they have issues, or maybe non-Muslims or whatnot, maybe just make dua for them that they can find the right path and have goodness in their lives, and then khair will spread all over.
MashaAllah. Beautiful. Doing dua for your brothers and sisters. MashaAllah. That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you, Sister Hadid, for always blessing our gatherings with your great thoughts and profound reflections. Yes, Sister Shabina, go ahead.
I just want to speak, tell about the loyalty means to keep the secret about someone that maybe they share with you, or you have that thing with you. Don't share with others. The loyalty may be that also, if we can
Yes.
take.
Yes, indeed. That's very important to keep your secret, right? To keep secrets. That's so important indeed. And that's an amana. That's like a safeguarding measurement that we need to have between you and this person. Of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as your witness indeed. Jazakallah khairan, Sister Shabina, for pointing that out. I'm reading in the chat, Dr. Bibijan is writing, I believe we have to be Ummah-centric in our approach to build this idea of Islamic brotherhood. Yes, indeed, Dr. Bibijan, I totally agree with you. Brother Rashid is writing, there is a Quranic ayah used by Zakir Naik at his talk, words to the effect, invite to good with a goodly manner, especially on the basis that Allah is the one. Yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. This is a very great quote from Zakir Naik that you're sharing. Thank you, Brother Rashid. Safura is writing, Surah Al-Hujurat talked about it. Yes, we're going to read some of the ayat in Surah Al-Hujurat, inshallah, with regards to brotherhood. And then Sister Safura is writing authenticity. Yes, brotherhood is about authenticity, indeed. Yes, Brother Ahmed, go ahead.
Yeah, in loyalty, first we have to be loyal with ourselves. If you are not loyal with ourselves, we will not find God.
Mm.
Second,
Yes.
if we have, yeah, like I've been whenever we have some discussion with friends about trust, so loyalty is coming with trust. So what I'm saying, if you don't trust yourself, don't trust anyone else.
Interesting.
Because yeah, so, like for me, loyalty it should be only for Allah, and it comes when we are loyal with ourselves. When we know we are doing zulm upon ourselves, when we know this is wrong, but still we are letting it go, this is another level. Like, so then it is important for us to be conscious of God and how much Allah consider us as a loyal slave. No one else matters for me, even they think me hypocrite, murtad, whatever. Different things come. But the most important, we should not kind of arrogantly look into others' opinion. But if they are still, you're not finding that thing and you're still have confidence in your thought, then we should rely back on Allah, nothing else.
Interesting reflection, Brother Ahmad. Appreciate you joining us, mashallah, coming with very interesting insights, trying to reflect upon it. So wafa is loyalty, and to be loyal towards yourself. Depending, I understand what you mean, and it's interesting discussion. What happens if yourself is not fully polished? If the nafs is not fully polished, then you might need a loyal brother or sister as a mirror to help you to polish that, nafs of yours. Of course, loyalty is first and foremost towards Allah. That is 100%. I really agree with you, and that's in alignment with Futuwwah. But then loyalty with brothers, I understand what you're saying, and it's very profound reflections you're doing. And I think that we need to see this very holistically. I think Futuwwah and all the virtues of Futuwwah, we need to look at it from a holistic point of view, because just to be loyal to others doesn't mean that you should disregard yourself, because then it's actually a self-sacrification, which is quite nafsani in its nature. Because if you forget yourself, then you forget that you're a creation of Allah and that you need to take care of yourself to be connected to Allah. Because ultimately, in the day of judgment, you will stand there by yourself and not with your brothers or sisters, by the way. So you need to always be mindful of yourself. And that is a healthy self-consciousness. But then if you're only mindful of yourself and disregarding others, then you're out of balance. So you need to have a holistic approach where there is always a balance where you involve yourself but interact with others. And of course, first and foremost, you need to always be connected to Allah, because that's why Allah gave you a soul as a wasila to connect with Him. So it's a very holistic approach, but I definitely get your point, and I appreciate you bringing it about, Brother Ahmed. Jazakallah khairan. Brother Rashid, go ahead. Brother Rashid.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. Brother, may I take 30 seconds to recite a poem which embodies what loyalty is to man and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
Please go ahead. We would love to hear it.
I don't
As
know
long as
who
you
wrote
share
the
it in the
poem.
WhatsApp group afterwards, Brother Rashid, so that we can all benefit, inshallah.
No,
Go ahead.
I don't know who wrote the poem, but when I was in school, I remember we had to study a certain poem in school. And the poem was called Abu Ben Adam. Now, if you listen to the words, Abu is the father of the son of Adam. So now they talk of Adam himself, which is mankind. So the name, it says, Abu Ben Adam awoke one night from a deep dream of peace and saw within the moonlight in his room an angel writing in a book of gold. Exceeding peace had made Ben Adam bold, and to the angel in the room he asked, "What writest thou?" "The names of those who love the Lord." "And is mine one also?" "Nay, not so," replied the angel. "Then write me as one who loves his fellow men." The angel wrote and vanished. The next night he appeared again, and lo, Ben Adam's name led all the rest. So basically what the poem is saying, that if you want to show your love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after starting, as Brother Ahmad and others have said, with yourself, don't forget to be loyal, first to yourself, then to your fellow human beings, because thereafter you will end up being loyal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jazakallah khairan.
MashaAllah. I appreciate this beautiful poem. Please share it in the Futuwwah WhatsApp group, inshallah. And yes, as you're referring to, we need to have this interconnectedness with ourselves, or else we disassociate, which is not good, and then with others, and ultimately through that with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Barakallahu feekum, my beloved brother. Let's continue reading. We only have 30 minutes left. We have so much to read, so it's a long chapter today. Let's move to the Fatah. So who would like to continue reading?
Can I read?
Yes, Brother Hisham, go ahead. Welcome.
From where, bas?
From the Fatah here in the last sentence of this page.
Okay. The Fatah should stand by his brothers in times of distress, just as a dog does not abandon his master when distress or danger comes to him. This was that manifested between the immigrants and the helpers in Medina when the Prophet ﷺ established the Brotherhood compact between them, encouraging this spirit of brotherhood. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Whoever relieves the hardship of a believer in this world, Allah will relieve his hardship on the day. On the day of resurrection, whoever helps ease one in difficulty, Allah will make it easy for him in this world and in the hereafter. Whoever conceal the faults of a Muslim, Allah will conceal his faults in this world and in the hereafter. Allah helps the servant as long as he helps his brother." Brothers come to the aid of other brothers and commiserate with them. The Prophet ﷺ, for instance, made Salman al-Farisi and Abu Darda brothers, and Salman visited Abu Darda. Abu Darda made food for him, then told him, "Eat, though I am fasting." Everything is okay till now?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Salman replied, "I will eat if you eat with me." And then Abu Darda broke his fast. Okay. Likewise, the brotherly love between Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman and Salman was as such that he would give him water to drink from his own cup while holding it in his hand. A true brother does not...
Jazakallah khairan, brother. We'll take a pause there. Thank you for reading in such an excellent way, brother Hisham. We're very honored to have you with us. Thank you, brother. I see some new voices today in our session, brother Ahmed, brother Hisham. Welcome to the halaqah. We're very honored to have you guys with us. Thank you so much for giving out of your precious time. Jazakallah khairan, brother. So essentially here, there's a lot of things that we can reflect upon. First and foremost, the Brotherhood Compact, the Mu'akhat, which is crucial for us to reflect upon when we speak about brotherhood and sisterhood indeed, right? And as you guys know, this Brotherhood Compact was established between the Muhajirun and the Ansar during the Hijrah, right? And the Prophet ﷺ formalized these bonds amongst the Muslims in Medina, between those from Mecca and those from Medina, right? And pairing each Muhajir and each Ansar in this bond that went beyond friendship, right? And went beyond the ties of blood kin. Sisters and brothers, if you guys can just mute yourself when you join, it will be much easier. And then unmute when you're going to say something, inshallah. So this Brotherhood Compact is crucial for us to understand the notion of brotherhood and sisterhood, and also to bring it about in the concept of Futuwwah. So here we can see that the Brotherhood Compact entails what? Economic and social support, right? The Ansar opened their homes, right? They shared their wealth, right? And they offered opportunities for the Muhajirin and the Muhajirun to restart their lives, right? Because they just did the Hijrah and they left everything they owned, right? And also it was a moral, ethical, and spiritual bond, isn't it, dear brothers and sisters, right? That these two groups became one through the concept of ummah, right? And it went beyond tribal differences or rivalries, right? So what can we learn, dear brothers and sisters, from this notion of Brotherhood Compact in this contemporary era, in the way that we treat our fellow Muslims and human beings, right? And especially those that are the ones that are the most vulnerable. What do you guys think? Anybody who would like to share some insights and reflections with regards to this question?
Yes, brother, I want to say something.
You want to share, Brother Shrey? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Based on these stories, I want to say that this Muslim or Islam it says the relationship between Allah, people around you, and the relationship with living things and non-living things. Like everything is included. Like Islam is only about relationship, how you behave with someone others. So that's what I want to say.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, brother. Thank you for your excellent inputs. MashaAllah, I agree with you. MashaAllah, thank you. Yes, Sister Shabina, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that. Having a good feeling by your heart with someone only for the sake of Allah. If the person has done wrong with you, then also having the feeling of good to do good for them and pray for them to become a better Muslim.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Excellent insight, Sister Shabina. We appreciate all of your inputs. Jazakallah khairan. I was also thinking here about the brotherly love, the ukhuwah, the muruwah. That's futuwah, isn't it? Here you see how Salman al-Farsi radiallahu anhu and Hurhayfa ibn al-Yaman radiallahu anhu loved each other, sharing water with one another, drinking from each other's hands. Subhanallah. It's beautiful, beautiful. So what can we learn from this love, this sacred brotherly love? We can add that to the question that I already asked. Yes, Brother Rashid, go ahead.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'd like to say, first of all, that this brotherhood is absolutely important. And of course, when I say brotherhood in this context, I mean sisterhood also. Because a brother usually would go out of their way to help a brother or a sister of theirs, by which I mean a blood brother or a blood sister. However, as we heard earlier on in this chapter, or as we read earlier on in this chapter, it is more important at times that a brother or a sister who is not of your mother is the one closer to you who may help you, or who you may help. And this is especially important in this time where we have financial difficulties and we have people hating, envying, backbiting each other. Because the way to Jannah is paved not only with good intentions, as the Christians believe. They say paradise, the road to paradise is paved with good intentions. But also in Islam, we believe that the way to Jannah is paved with good actions and intentions. Because if you do the good action and the intention, then inshallah, what was said earlier on about concealing your brothers or sisters' faults will result in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala concealing your faults. And inshallah, this will be a way for you to enter paradise or Jannah. Jazakallah khairan.
Jazakallah khairan for your excellent remarks, as always.
I want
Brother
to add
Yusuf. I agree.
something.
Yeah, go ahead, Brother Shoaib. Go ahead.
And to add just one line, that good action with good intention, not only the
Yes.
just intention.
Yes, mashallah. That was a good add-on as well. Mashallah. We believe in accumulative knowledge here, so we're building upon each other's statements. That's great. Intentions are great, actions are great, connections are great, and not to disregard is not disregard is good, and to disregard is not good. Mashallah. Jazakallah khairan. Yes, Brother Ahmed, go ahead.
Uh, Something here really it's attracting that Abu Darda broke his fast. So we can understand how much the love and brotherhood is so much important at this age for Islam, for Muslims, where they are breaking their fasting for the sake of brotherhood. So if you come to this reality at this time, like it is reverse, people will break their friendship, people will break their everything just because they are not religious, just because they are not praying, just because they are drinking alcohol or they are living in a haram relationship, and so many things. And we are bringing sake of Allah for this. I'm leaving my friend for the sake of Allah, and I'm absolutely like against this. If we are loving someone for the sake of Allah, maybe Allah has put that person in that situation to check my love for his sake to another servant. So I'm leaving it, I'm giving it up. Where is the love? Where is the sake of Allah coming from? And nowadays, at this time, like I have been experiencing this so much. Like, for example, with the friends, he is coming to me, I love you for the sake of Allah. I love you for the sake of Allah. After 1 month or 2 months, if they see me doing something wrong, or if I'm not agreeing with their statement, they will say, I hate you. So, with this regard, I understand that sake of Allah sounds easy, but it is so much difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. It's about the nufus, isn't it? We need to be, very steadfast in our connections with our brothers and sisters. Just because somebody makes a mistake, we cannot hate them, We can always be against the action, but not the person. Actions, we can always say, this is not good, this is not bad. That's quite clear. That's black and white sometimes because it's according to Qur'an and Sunnah, we judge that. But human beings can always change, indeed. And just because we fluctuate doesn't mean that we should fluctuate our connection with our fellow human beings. That's a great reflection, Brother Ahmed. Thank you so much. So
Yeah.
let's continue.
As per Imam Ghazali, I'm sorry, as per Imam Ghazali is saying that even action doesn't identify a true character or personality of the person.
Yeah.
For example, if a person go and spend lots of money on the poor, it doesn't make him generous. His action is generosity, but whether real he is generous within his heart, Allahu Alam.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know the intentions. We don't, that's only between him or her on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we can still look at the action. Of course, that gives us effect. We can judge the action, but the person can have good intention or maybe not good intention. But nevertheless, we will have husnul dhan as much as we can, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan for this amazing remarks, Brother Ahmed. I really appreciate it. Let's continue reading a little bit because we still have 15 minutes left and we have a lot. We will not be able to read the whole chapter, but khair, inshallah. You guys can read it by yourselves at home. As I often say, our gatherings and our study circle is not about finalizing each chapter jointly and reading it. It's about the text reflection and the insight that we gain when we reflect together as a collective, as an ummah, and as seekers of knowledge. So that's the intention. So sometimes we will not be able to read all the chapters depending on the length of the chapter. This chapter was quite lengthy. It was 10 pages. So inshallah, we'll read as much as possible. But your text reflections and our joint text reflections are very valuable indeed. Yes, Sister Iman, go ahead.
CD, would you like me to read?
Oh, yes, sister. I would love that. Thank you so much. I would really appreciate that. So let's go ahead. Let's read from here. A true brother does not seek to dishonor.
Okay. A true brother does not seek to dishonor his brothers by revealing their failings or personal mistakes to the public, nor does a real brother use his brother's mistakes as leverage over them. To do such would be a spiritual breach of brotherhood and would cause division within the brotherhood. Accordingly, Prophet ﷺ said, reviling a Muslim is grave corruption, and killing him is disbelief. Strengthening this point, Ja'far al-Khuldi said, Futuwwah is to debase the one's ego and to ennoble the sanctity of Muslims. The Fatah must control his tongue and hands during times of disagreement with his brothers by refraining from cursing or fighting with his brothers in faith. If he is angered by certain words or actions committed, he should remove himself from the situation to calm down instead of acting from rage, which will ultimately bring about regret. He should not shun the brothers for more than 3 days without calling forth an elder to help mediate any disputes. The Fatah is forbidden to make fun of his fellow brothers by bullying them or calling them names, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited this in Surah Al-Hujurat, verse 10, when he proclaimed, O you who believe, do not let some men ridicule other men. Perhaps they are better than those ridiculing, nor let some women ridicule other women. Perhaps they may be better than them. Do not defame one another, nor call each other by offensive nicknames. How evil is it to act rebelliously after having faith? And whoever does not repent, it is they who are the wrongdoers. Seyed Mu'in al-Din Shishti said, there is no sin more harmful for you than to show contempt for your Muslim brother. Thus, blameworthy tribalism and racism is spiritually cancerous and a part of Shaitan's scheme to bring enmity between brothers in faith. The Fatah must be vigilant in not falling into such trappings and should sway others away from racism when it arises. Racism is antithetical to Islam, as the Prophet ﷺ clearly stated, O people, surely your Lord is one. Surely there is no virtue of the Arab over the non-Arab, nor the non-Arab over the Arab. There is no virtue of the white over the black, nor the black over the white, except in God consciousness. Surely the most honorable of you with Allah are those of you who are most regardful.
Jazakallah khairan, Sister Iman, for reading in such an excellent way. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, sister. So it's a lot of great reflections here to have. For instance, revealing failing or personal mistakes in the public of your brother or sister. This is something that we should not do. This is something that we should not leverage upon, because this will be a spiritual breach, right, of brotherhood and sisterhood. And this can cause division within the ummah and within brothers and sisters. So this is something that I would like you guys to reflect upon and expand upon. Why is this a breach of brotherhood and sisterhood? And then also how to handle disagreements, right? That we should control our tongues and hands during times of disagreement with our brothers and sisters by refraining from cursing or fighting with our brothers in faith. Why is this important? How can we utilize this approach? For instance, to help the youth and the fatah to handle disagreements from the essence of Futuwwah, right? and keeping the bond of brotherhood and sisterhood, and also not making fun, not doing bullying, right? The fatah is forbidden to make fun of his fellow brothers and sisters by bullying them or calling them names or doing jokes, you know. And that I think Safura was referring to this ayat in Surah Al-Hujurat, right? Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about not using nicknames and offensive nicknames towards one another and bullying, right? How can we create, for instance, an anti-bullying program within schools, but also within the youths and elders by that matter, from a Futuwwah point of view? You know, how could this methodology be implemented, an anti-bullying program from a Futuwwah point of view? How would the methodology be, for instance? And then, of course, with regards to racism and blameworthy tribalism, right? That this is against the prophetic teachings, which we also see in this final sermon of the Prophet ﷺ, when he says that, you know, there's no virtue of the Arab over the non-Arab, or the non-Arab over the Arab, or the white over the black, or the black over the white, except in taqwa, right? How can we use these notions within the framework of Futuwwah to create anti-racism programs, for instance, you know, from Islamic and holistic Futuwwah point of view? So these are some of the reflections that I was thinking about and that we could reflect upon together. And we still have 10 minutes left. Any thoughts about this, about blameworthy tribalism and racism, about how to handle disagreements, not making fun and bullying? Yes, Sister Amber, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you so much. I think a great session, another great session. I am going to say in here, I'm going to say the good things about us first. So we really, in my opinion, or what I'm learning now, we're really good at bigger things. So for example, we're good at fasting, we're good at charity, we're good at salah, we're good at possibly helping those whom we love and everything. But I think we need to build good characters in terms of what we're learning today and what we learned like last session also in terms of advisory and so many smaller topics, but it has a huge impact on us and those who are closer to us and in a bigger community also. And quite a lot of these things obviously are there in your ISIP guidelines. So for example, this Adamia, you know, this last that, you know, no Arab has it's just gone from the page actually, like, you know, over non-Arabs, like, you know, so all of these things are there in your guidelines also, or non-judgmental, or, you know, respecting everyone. So I think we are lacking in terms of those smaller notions of building good characters, helping each other truly, not to show people off. It's literally those simple things, but they are so important things that we need to really build in, not only in youth, but it needs a paradigm shift. It needs a shift from all generations with all of those things. So yes, we appreciate the good, but we need to work on these character building notions.
MashaAllah, Sister Amber, thank you so much for your excellent remarks. We really appreciate it. Yes, I agree with you. This character reformation and refinement is crucial in the notion and in the path of Futuwwah. Through doing tahdib, it's very important indeed. Thank you so much. Brother Lucas, Brother Luqman, Assalamu alaikum. Please go ahead.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, dear brothers.
Nice to see you, brother. MashaAllah. Very nice to see you.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. I wanted to share something, because the sentence, like, there is no sin more harmful for you than to show contempt for your Muslim brother, it really resonated with me very strongly right now, because in my experience, I work in the addiction field, and I have some projects going on for Muslims struggling with addiction. And I noticed this several times right now in these past weeks and months, that I talk to really good brothers, you know, maybe they're even on the path of tasawwuf, you know, like always about adab and everything, you know, like great speech and very nice people. And then when it comes to addiction and like supporting your Muslim brothers and sisters who are currently struggling with these issues, I noticed like really strong content coming up, you know, and it's like something switches and then there's somebody else, and I was just wondering if you maybe have some reflections on this, because I was really perplexed. I noticed this a couple of times right now, that somehow there is like a switch that goes, and then they're like talking about, "Ah, I don't want to have to do anything with this because this is like really bad," you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Maybe you have some reflections on this.
MashaAllah, Brother Luqman, thank you for your excellent reflections and thoughts. And thank you, Sister Amber, for your inputs also. It was such an honor to have you with us, Sister Amber. Um, Brother Luqman, yeah, this is a very great reflection. And I just like thinking sometimes that when we see shortcomings in others, it's actually a reflection of the shortcomings in us. And that's part of being human, right? Because we all know that we are all born pure, but through socialization, we might go astray, right? And our experience in this dunyawi realm. And that, nobody is beyond shortcomings. We all have shortcomings. And that makes us humans because as we have been learning in our readings, I think it was 2 chapters ago, we read that, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know which scholar was referred to in the book, but nevertheless, this is a general statement that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the angels with intellect, but without any desires, any shahwa, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the animals with desires and shahwa, but without any intellect. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us as insan with both intellect and shahwa. And if we just allow our shahwa to govern us without aligning it with the intellect, then we become less than the animals. But if we align both, then we can transcend, right? It's a very beautiful statement. And I think it was in 2 chapters ago we read this statement. And I think sometimes we forget our human nature, that we as humans are prone to good, but we also prone to make mistakes as a way to learn if we have proper guidance and we have a belief of purifying ourselves. And then when we see people doing mistakes, like for instance, in your case, Brother Luqman, you were referring to people that are addictive to something, whether it's drugs or other, substance. And then perhaps we shun away because we don't want to be reminded about our human nature, our humanity, of both being born in the pure state. So we're always, everybody has a fitra, which is, pure, right? But at the same time, our humanity in the sense that we are not perfect ourselves. And by shunning away, we continue to contain ourselves in our bubble of, all right, I don't need to be distressed by the problems in the world. Let me just shun away, you know? It's like using the remote control when you're watching TV or YouTube or whatever, how you watch news and you see some problems in the world and you just, oh, I don't have time with that. Let me just switch channels, right? So this is almost switching people as a way to perhaps not reconnect with your own mistakes and shortcomings that will be evoked by seeing other people's struggles, which essentially is important because that allows us to see that we're also humans and we also reflection of all other humans and we have both strengths and weaknesses such as other humans. That was just a reflection from my side, Brother Luqman. I don't know if it made sense, but it was just a reflection from what I interpreted from the interactions that you had with your fellow brothers and sisters, that sometimes people just shut down because they don't want to be reminded of their own humanness or adamiyah, and also with that comes shortcomings as well. Allahu A'lam. Allahu A'lam. Jazakallah khair, my beloved Brother Luqman. It's such an honor to have you with us. May Allah bless you for the amazing work you're doing in the community. Brother Luqman is a community worker in Germany, working with youths, helping them in their path towards healthy lifestyles. And we were very proud of his approach. And we're also honored that Brother Luqman is establishing Futuwwah Academy's German chapter. So we're very excited about that, mashallah, under his excellent leadership. Barakallahu fikum, Akhi Kareem Sidna. All right, Brother Rashid.
What I'd like to say, first of all, is regarding tribalism and racism. Unfortunately, these two isms are at times, I feel, almost as widespread as some religions, not only in the Hindutva or the right-wing Caucasian European communities, but also in our very own Muslim communities. For example, you find that there is a big shortage in westernized communities of marriage partners for eligible young women. But when somebody is prepared to marry the young woman, and that somebody is from a different background, culturally, different background in as far as the continent of the world that they hailed from, or different background in the language that they speak, we find that many people are not getting married because of parental discontent or discomfiture with the choice of their child, whether it's a son or a daughter. The second point I'd like to make is what you said about us being born as humans pure. I was at another meeting last week. Sister Tahira from India was speaking, and she asked us the question that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had 99 different characteristics and attributes. And we were asked the question, how many do us humans have when we are born? And the answer was, amazingly, which I didn't know, we have 99 just like Allah. But although we are born with this, and of course not at the level that Allah has, as we get older, from infanthood all the way from cradle to grave, we gradually start losing each one of these attributes until when it's time for us to be buried, we might have lost a great majority of them, if not all of them. Jazakallah khairan.
MashaAllah. I love that. I love everything you said, by the way, Brother Rashid. But the last part is very beautifully framed, by the way. It's about the socialization process and our dunyavi experiences disconnects us from some of the understanding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala divine names and attributes. It's very beautiful, very beautiful. And then we need to reconnect by being reminded. That's why we need these gatherings that we have today, for instance, these Futuwwah gatherings. May Allah accept it from all of us. We're over time, my beloved brothers and sisters, and we still have half of the chapter left to read. So I'm encouraging you guys to read it by yourselves, inshallah, because next week we will start the next chapter to just, continue with the reading schedule that we have with regards to this book, inshallah. I just wanted us to read the half of the final page because it's so many great insights here with regards to brotherhood, and also with regards to racism and blameworthy tribalism. By the way, tribalism doesn't need to be something bad, brothers and sisters. It's important for us to reflect upon that, because from an Islamic point of view, tribalism can be good as well. Because there is this secular notion that all tribalism is bad. I'm sure you guys hear that, oh, these people are so tribal, these people from these countries are so tribal and their mind state, etc. That's a very secular secular approach towards it. From an Islamic point of view, there is both blameworthy tribalism, which is racism. You think that your tribe is better than others, your nation, your state, whatever. But there is also healthy tribalism, that I'm proud of my culture, but I don't think I'm better than others. I'm proud of my lineage, doesn't mean that I'm better than others. And that is something healthy, actually, to be proud of our heritage, proud of being a Muslim, proud of being from a certain culture or background or country, whatever. That's nothing wrong, as long as you don't add thinking you're better than others, right? Because that turns the healthy tribalism into blameworthy tribalism, which is connected to racism. I hope that makes sense, because it's important for us to do this distinction, dear excellent brothers and sisters, because sometimes we can subconsciously internalize Western. I don't want to say Western because there's a lot of good things in the West, and I'm also from the West, by the way, so I am Western in a sense. I should say secular. That's a better terminology. That you speak tribalism in a condescending way, that all tribalism is bad, and then they say, oh, these people from this Muslim countries, they're so backward, they're so tribalistic. This is really racism in this modernistic viewpoint, which we think we should definitely refute in a sense, and speak about healthy tribalism. So this part, last part, does anybody want to read? I want us just to read until yeah, this page as well. We will not do text reflection. I just want us to read it for the sake of learning together. Anybody who would like to read, or else I'll read it, inshallah.
I'm ready if you watch, brother.
MashaAllah, Brother Rashid. I'm so delighted that you're ready. Let's go ahead, Brother Rashid. Let's read this final part, inshallah.
In the Brotherhood Compact, the Prophet ﷺ paired off different men from different tribes and made them best friends. He also paired off non-Arabs with Arabs. It is narrated that on one occasion, two clients of the Prophet ﷺ, who were both Muslims, began reviling each other. One shouting, "Oh, Abyssinian," while the other yelled, "Oh, Egyptian." At this point, the Prophet ﷺ told them, "Stop saying this. Both of you are from the people of Muhammad." On another occasion, a man questioned Salman al-Farsi radiallahu anhu regarding his lineage. He responded, "My honor, my religion, and my lineage are the dirt. I was created from the dirt, and to the dirt will I return. Then I will be resurrected and brought to the scale. If my scale is heavy with faith and good deeds, then my lineage will be most honorable, and I will have honor with my Lord and will enter paradise. But if my scale is light, then my lineage will be shameful. I will be disgraced in front of my Lord, and then I will be punished unless forgiveness and mercy are granted for my sins." One day, Ali ibn al-Hussein radiallahu anhu entered the masjid, came before the people, then sat in a study circle led by Zayd ibn Aslam. Nafi ibn Jubair ibn Mutim, who was Qurayshi, said to Ali ibn al-Hussein, "May Allah forgive you. You are the master of people, excel in all circles of the people of sacred knowledge, and are from Quraysh, yet you sit with this black slave." Ali ibn al-Hussein replied, "I merely sit with a man wherever I find benefit, and surely knowledge is found wherever it exists."
Jazakallah khairan, my beloved brother Rashid, for reading in such an amazing way. With this, we will conclude our session today, dear brothers and sisters. I just wanted us to read this part as well, because I think this statement from Salman al-Farsi radiallahu anhu is so profound. My honor, my religion, and my lineage are the dirt. I was created from the dirt, and to the dirt I will return. Subhanallah. So honestly, this is something that we should always regard. Of course, we believe that there's healthy tribalism, and we believe in nasl and nasab as one of the objectives of maqasid of Sharia, the objectives of Sharia, that we need to preserve nasl and nasab lineage. We believe that there are sacred lineages. Of course, we love the Ahl al-Bayt, we love the righteous, we love the we love seeing the silsila of our teachers and where they gained their knowledge, and the sanad, and these are all part of lineage and knowledge, lineage, and kinship. These are things that we see sacred indeed. It doesn't mean that we cannot endorse this amazing statement from Salman al-Farsi, who was actually considered the part of Ahl al-Bayt, because the Prophet said he's from my home, right? If you guys know the prophetic statement when he was speaking about Salman al-Farsi. So even though he was not connected through blood tie with the Prophet ﷺ, he was part of his home. He was part of the Ahl al-Bayt, right? So nevertheless, we're all from the dirt. So we're all, in the sense, equal as brothers and sisters in faith. And we will return back to dirt. And then we will be resurrected and brought to the scale, right? So this is such a profound thing that breaks racism, that breaks blameworthy tribalism, even though we believe that lineage and nasab can be something sacred as well. And then obviously what Sayyidina Ali ibn al-Hussein radiallahu anhu says, that I merely sit with a man wherever I find benefit, and surely knowledge is found wherever it exists. That we can find knowledge wherever it exists. Doesn't matter the race of the person, doesn't matter which nationality the person has. Sacred knowledge can be found in many places, and we have amazing scholars from all parts of the world, right? From the west to the east to the north to the south. And this is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we can find knowledge in people from different backgrounds. May Allah accept our reading today. I really enjoyed all of your participation and contributions. And brothers and sisters, I want you guys to continue the discussion in the WhatsApp group. I will open it up in 30 minutes, inshallah. Last week, I opened up after 3 days. My sincere apologies. It was a very hectic week for me. My sincere apologies. Please continue the discussions. We want this discussion not to be only when we meet in this live halaqah, rather also on the WhatsApp group. Share your reflections, share all the quotes you shared, the poetry, whatever you guys shared, because we will benefit from it. And there's so many brothers and sisters who cannot join who will benefit by reading it in the WhatsApp group. So I really recommend you, dear brothers and sisters, to do so. And there is some more things I'm seeing in the chat. So Brother Ahmed, if you can share this. Yeah, exactly. If you can share this poem from Jalaluddin Rumi, Rahimullah, Maulana Rumi, Rahimullah, in the WhatsApp group, that will be amazing, inshallah. All right, brothers and sisters, we will end now. I will end by reading what Brother Ahmed wrote in the chat, and then we'll see each other next week, and then we will continue our reading with the next chapter, and more information will be shared in the WhatsApp group, and also the recording will be uploaded within a couple of days, inshallah. So thank you so much for your amazing reflections once more, dear brothers and sisters. I'm very honored to be with you all, and I'm learning so much by listening to you all. And please
Thank
forgive
you,
me for the
brother.
shortcomings from my side, and all the good comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and all the mistakes are solid in mine. I want to thank once more all of our participants, brothers and sisters, for your amazing contribution and for giving out of your precious time. And I want to thank Sister Fatima, Brother Shoaib, for helping out, facilitate this halaqah in an excellent way.
Thank you.
We will
Thank
end.
you, brother Jamal.
Jazakallah khairan, Brother Hisham. Thank you. So we will end by reading this beautiful poem from Rumi. Thank you, Brother Ahmed, for sharing it. Rumi says, whether you drive me away or call me near, whether you lift me to the heights or drag me down to the dust, I'm not one to complain, nor are you one to forsake. I am not one to turn away from the grace of your gaze, and you are not one to deny a beggar your glance. If the door does not open, I will not seek another shelter. I will sit by the wall like a beggar on the path of your mercy. None but you do I desire, whether you will it or not. Open the door, for I have no refuge but this house. Subhanallah. What a beautiful poem. Thank you so much for sharing, Brother Ahmed. I wish you all a great continuation of day, my beloved brothers and sisters. An honor to be with you all. See you all next time. And next time, my greetings to your communities, to your families, and to your companions and loved ones, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.